So again, the S&P 500 took a major hit today. As you can see, it is down 2.7% here on March 10th. As of the last 5 days, down 2.66%. The last month, down 7.45%. And year to date, it is down 4.54% as of me checking again on March 10th. Obviously, not going well. A lot of this, as we know, has a lot to do with the U.S. and their new regime's tariffs. So all these tariffs are scaring people away, and there are some other economic factors in play here, but that'll be for a whole nother video. Right now, what I want to focus on is Coca-Cola stock. Coca-Cola stock is really interesting to me right now, and there are a few reasons why. So when you're looking at the entire market taking a nosedive for the first couple months of the year, and you look at all these different stocks. You look at the Magnificent Seven that were so great last year and previous years, and then you look at how they're doing this year. Very bad. Nvidia, Tesla, Amazon, Apple, those types of stocks, the major tech companies that are also at the forefront of the AI boom are not doing well. But if you look at, well, who is doing well? Where should we put our money? Should we just hold our money in the bank? Should we just sell all our stocks? What should we do at this time? So I'm looking for stocks like I still want my money to grow, but where is the money actually growing? It doesn't seem like there are a lot of stocks that I've been watching that are doing really well this year because the market as a whole is doing poorly. But if you look at Coca-Cola, they're up very minimally today, but when everything else is down almost 3%, it looks a lot better to see a little bit of green. They are down just under 1% for the past 5 days, but the past month, they're actually up 11%, almost 11%. And if you look at, well, a lot of times when people sell, they put their money in something else. They don't just hoard cash. Now, some people do, but a lot of times they sell from maybe the high growth stocks and then put it into something that they think is a little safer, maybe something that pays a dividend, maybe something that's more of a consumer staple like Coca-Cola. You want to talk about a consumer staple, look at all the different brands that they own. They own countless other brands. You're not just buying Coca-Cola itself, you're buying a lot of the major beverage companies all around the world. You're even including water, sports drinks, soda, coffee, whatever it may be, milk, they cover almost all of them. Year to date, Coca-Cola is up almost 15%, and in the past year, it is up 18.61%. So you look at maybe the last 5 years. The last 5 years, that's one thing that kind of kept me away from Coca-Cola. I don't think they're going to grow super fast. Another reason is because they offer such a generous dividend. As you can see, they have about a 2.86% dividend here. PE ratio is 29.03. Now the PE ratio is still a little bit higher than the PE ratio for VOO, which is about 28.26. Some people might not care about that. Some people might. I like to look at things that have a earnings ratio or price to earnings ratio maybe a little bit lower than VOO, which is essentially the same thing as the S&P 500. It's the Vanguard's version of that. But if you look at people like Warren Buffett, is Warren Buffett still holding Coca-Cola? Since 1988, it's been one of his main holdings at Berkshire Hathaway, spending $1.3 billion to amass what today is worth almost $25 billion, a 9% plus stake in the ubiquitous beverages giant. So again, a company that owns dozens of other beverage companies and it still has one of the most iconic and famous beverage products in the world that's sold at almost every single restaurant. Also, you'll notice that they've received dividends in the last few weeks from Coca-Cola, which means they're still holding Coca-Cola. Now, this was about 3 weeks ago when that was posted, but if you look at their top stocks right now, so this is a brand new article literally today from investors.com, he still owns 400 million of Coca-Cola. You also see Bank of America, Kraft Heinz, and a few other major companies that he's holding on to. But it's literally his second largest position is in Coca-Cola right now. I've also noticed that Robinhood gives them a 77% buy rating according to 30 different analysts. So obviously another stat that's not an end-all be-all. None of these particular stats are one end-all be-all, but you look at the accumulation of them. there are a lot of signs pointing to not only do you have one of the greatest investors, if not the greatest investor of all time, holding his second largest position in Coca-Cola when he's been selling a lot of other positions, hinting at an economic downturn, but also 30 raters or 30 analysts combined for a 77% buy rating on one of the biggest investment platforms in the world as well. And on their earnings, for the most part, they have been exceeding their earnings. They may not blow anyone out of the water, but they are exceedingly hitting above, or maybe one time they hit right at earnings, but every other time they've pretty much been at least a little bit above their earnings estimate. So I guess the argument against them that I would have, the one thing that doesn't make me want to go all in on Coca-Cola is maybe they're not really the type of stock that would get a lot of growth. If you look at like 5 years, you're going to look at something like Nvidia or Constellation Energy or something like that. They would just be multiples higher than Coca-Cola. But if you look at where the economy could be going, now some people are bearish, some people are still bullish. They think maybe this stuff will turn around and we won't have a huge recession. But if you're looking at the way things are going just in the first couple months of this new presidential regime, and if you're on more of the bearish side, you're a little bit worried about how things are going, this could be a safer bet. Obviously not financial advice, but if you're looking at safer bets right now, if you're looking at what's doing well when everything else is doing poorly this year in 2025, it looks like you could do worse than Coca-Cola right now. According to Warren Buffett, according to 30 analysts at Robinhood, according to these numbers, just looking at how things are going compared to the S&P 500 right now. And you can get a nice little dividend, of almost 3%. So Coca-Cola, I'm looking at this as maybe something that could be a little bit of a safer option, maybe to kind of diversify a portfolio that might be too heavy into AI right now, too heavy into tech stocks that are just all doing terribly right now, and maybe could be something that could be exchanged later on after things seem to be turning around for something that's higher growth, depending on your long-term goals.